Alright, so we have equisetum here, and we're going to start with the cuticle layer, which is on the outside of each part of those little divots in the stem. Alright, so we have that cuticle, and then inside the cuticle we're going to have the epidermis, and those are just like a kind of clear cells that lines the outer layer of the plant. Okay, so the outside again is lined with epidermis. And then, we have some special epidermal cells that are guard cells. And so, in a couple of spots, let's go ahead and draw in some stomata. And they're going to be right next to one of those air pockets. Okay, so, we'll have the two guard cells just like the other stomata we've seen. And okay. And then, let's see, stomata and guard cells. Okay. And then inside that area, you'll see a pretty large air pocket. And surrounding that air pocket, we're going to have cells that are parenchyma cells, but you know what? They have lots of chloroplast inside. So remember, chloroplast-filled parenchyma are chlorenchyma. And then the other cell type that we have too, at the very tip there, are some thick-walled cells to help support the stem. And so we're going to have some sclerenchyma as well, all making up part of the cortex. Alright, so we have kind of this layer of parenchyma, and then we have canals that run through these layers. And the canals are just air passages here. But all of this is made of parenchyma, so it's just more cortex. After the cortex, we have a layer of endodermis, and that's going to run right up against the cortex. And remember that endodermis is kind of a protective layer for that anterior vascular tissue. So that's going to be our endodermis. Just inside here. Just inside the endodermis are those vascular bundles. So we're going to have layers of xylem and phloem. And so the phloem is going to be kind of towards the outside here, small cells. But then we have kind of two different stages of xylem. One of those stages is the metaxylem, and they'll kind of be up here in the exposed area with the phloem. So you might see a couple of kind of darker cells there. And then we also have some protoxylem, which you'll find inside the canal that kind of a air air conduit inside. So both of those kinds are xylem. Remember, we're dealing with tracheids here. There's no vessel elements at this point. And phloem as that vascular tissue. So I think that ends for our equisetum. So we have the stele, that is that region composed of xylem, phloem, and endodermis. So we have xylem, those little bitty cells, phloem kind of here, and then endodermis protecting the stele. We have the outside cell layer, the epidermis, that's covered with a cuticle. We have the stomata and the two guard cells around that stomata. We have chloroplast-filled chlorenchyma. We have some supportive cells, sclerenchyma. And then we have the large, big open parenchyma cells.